Thank you. Thank you. Hello. Good morning. Yes, you're saying good morning. I know. What else do you have to say? Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, thank you. That's Teddy Bear. I want to say good morning to all my friends. Oh, I got a little tickle in my throat. Not used to talking like I every week, every day during the week with you all. Good morning. So I see Gloria, Gloria. I think of you often, Gloria, when I wrap myself in that cozy thing. Oh, I love it. There's Louise. Hi, good morning, Barbara. There's Barbara. How you doing? Uh, you still working on those miniatures? I love those little miniature. I love the idea of the miniatures. I don't know if my fingers are too big for that. There's Tara, Sherry. Let's see who else. Lisa G, Rhonda Blower. There she is. There's our friend Loretta. Hi, Loretta. Oh, and Mama Bear's here. Diane, Barbara. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. I've missed you. I've missed you a lot. However, I actually did get a lot done in the time that I had taken off, and it gave me a lot of time to think about, what we're doing here, and I'll talk about it a little bit further as we get on in the show. But I hope I caught everybody in the good mornings. But if not, welcome. This is Rita, Miss Rita, from Miss Rita to the Rescue, and let's see, what do we want to talk about today? Today we're going to make an interesting card. An interesting card because it's sort of it's half of the old-fashioned way to make cards and half of using some special materials, the also old way, but in a new way in our machines. So this is a project that I developed a while ago when I was first trying to develop uh, some note cards. A lot of times I would send out notes, with no present or anything, just notes like, "Hi, how are you? Been thinking about you," that sort of thing. Or if it was a birthday, I would have like a little note card. So um, that's what I would usually do rather than going to the, you know, dollar store and buying two for $1 because I don't like those cards. I mean, they're okay in a pinch and everything, but I would much rather make my own card. So that's what this stemmed from. Also, I got on this doily kick, and I actually have 3 or 4 other doily type things. And this one has a cherry blossom on the top, which I have used this cherry blossom to do a number of projects, one being a wreath. I made a cherry blossom wreath with a grapevine base. It looked fabulous. I wish I could find it. It's somewhere in my house. That's one of the things I've been working on, is finding lost things and moving stuff around. I think it's important to move stuff around in your house. Like, I think the energy gets stale or something. So if you're one of those people that move stuff around, I just think it's probably a good idea, and just kind of shake things up a little bit. But anyway, so we have this really cute cherry blossom, which goes on the card. I'm going to show you how to make them using this paper sculpting kit, which is something, for a hand card maker, especially someone like a quiller would get this. I don't even know if they still sell this thing, but what I liked about it is that it contained these 2, not just 1, but 2 um, of these soft, spongy type boards that help you train your paper without ripping it. And I'm going to show you how to use that. So let's talk a little bit about the base. So you could cut the base out on your Cricut. However, it's a waste of paper to do it that way. So honestly, when I was developing these, I said, I'm just going to hand cut my own card bases out of some fun pictures or out of some fun patterned paper. So I do have some patterned paper, and I want to show you how I did that. Here's some patterned paper that I already cut out for our cards. And I want to show you how I did that with a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, because it's real simple with an 8.5 by 11 inch sheet of paper, but 12 by 12 gets a little more complicated. And I want you guys to know how to make your own card bases without needing the machine, because it becomes really useful, especially if you just have a Joy, because Joys, well, the new Joy Extra would do a card base for you better than the Joy Original. I don't know if we just call it the Joy or the Joy Original now. So what I've got here is my scoreboard and cutter together. You'll notice that the numbers are really big, and also it's got this sort of handle here that makes it easier to move up and down instead of something very small. And I'm always concerned about people that have some motor impairments. I guess I've just always thought of that ever since my son was in school. And that was one thing that we had to focus on with him. And now fine motor skills are things that he really loves doing, which I thought pretty good. All right, so here's a 12 by 12 sheet of patterned paper. It came from, let's see, it came from this pattern. Here it is. It came from this paper that I have from Cricut, Anna Griffin Deluxe paper, Amélie Mélange. Mélange. I think that's how you say it. And it is beautiful paper that they used to do some patterned paper. They don't anymore. They do some licensed stuff, and I always loved the Anna Griffin stuff. So I made sure to pick that up when they were getting rid of it. All right, so these are 12 by 12 sheets of paper. That's what you get, two sizes that you usually can work from. And this is in America, and I think Canada, but not in the UK. So in America, we use 12 by 12 inch paper that's patterned. We also use 8.5 by 11 inch. We call it letter because it goes into our printers. And this is paper that's been patterned, so which means it's stamped and it has a white core. But sometimes you can buy your paper in solid core. Now look at this. I'm going to take my 12 by 12. So see here, it's showing it's 12 by 12 right at the 1/4 inch mark there. But I want to cut this down to 8.5 by 11 because that's how I'm going to get my 2 card bases. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it at 11. It seems to be the easiest one. And I'm going to line this up on right at that number. And then I'm going to use this handle and pushing just ever so slightly, move it up and down. And there is a beautiful, luscious piece of scrap paper that I put in my box under my desk. And then I turn it one turn, and I'm going to line it up to be 8.5. So basically, I'm turning a 12 by 12 inch sheet of patterned paper, because you often don't find a lot of patterned 8.5 by 11 inch paper. So if you wanted to use a pattern paper, which is what I wanted to do here, I decided that I'm going to use some of my other paper. Okay, so now that I have this 8.5 by 11, you'll recognize the size. This is the size goes into your laser printers, inkjets, and things like that. And it's 8.5 by 11. It's a pretty standard size. Now, what's really cool about 8.5 by 11 is if you cut it in half the long way. So let's go over here, and we're going to cut it equal sizes. So it's 11 inches. So half of 11 inches is 5.5, right? So we're going to cut this at the 5.5 inch mark. There we go. Now we have 2 pieces of cardstock, and these are going to become our note cards. So to make them into note cards, we're just going to fold them in half like this. And this is where some of the old school technique comes through. So here's a bone folder. And we're just going to make it so that it's got a nice crease on there. We have a beautiful note card. And that's how you do it if you don't have a Cricut machine or whatever, Silhouette, whatever machine. If you don't have a machine and you want to make cards, then you can make it using, hand stuff. But I incorporate my old school technique stuff in with my Cricut, and it makes for a really terrific tool in your arsenal. So your machine becomes a tool for you. All right, I'm going to now open this up and close it and put it away for the next time I need it. All right, so that's all you have to worry about for the bases, and you can just choose whatever color you want. I chose this is also Anna. This was from a Recollections, and this is from a Die Cuts with a View. So we have our bases. Next, we're going to talk about the flowers. So the flowers consist of 4 pieces, actually. These 2, which are the same, 1, 2. It also has one of the stamens and 1 leaf. Now this is where this comes in handy, the Sizzix paper sculpting kit. When you think about paper, it's a little bit hard to think about sculpting it, but actually paper is really good for sculpting. And if you're using the right material, what you have to do is worry about, is how you're going to bend the paper to give it, instead of a flat look, sort of a dimensional look. Well, the first thing is I'm going to go ahead and just separate these leaves so that they are all moving on their own. Okay, and then I'm going to take, I think I will take this quilling tool. Now you see these quilling tools have a big ball, a small ball, and then these are the medium and, I don't know, not extra small. Maybe that's extra small. So that's large, medium, small, medium, and, well, oh, look, they have numbers on them. Doofus, Rita. So I'm going to take the 5. I'm going to take the 5 and the 8mm one. All right. And what I'm going to do, this is that molding block I told you about. Now you don't have to get this. You can find one of these in the paper department of your local craft store. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of gently but firmly start like making a circle in the leaf, and I'm going to show you. You see how now I have the leaf has some dimension in it. So I'm just basically manipulating the fibers in the paper and sort of breaking them up, because remember, paper, it was a living thing at one point, made from trees, and trees have fiber, just like when you cut them out they have sawdust and all of that, and then they take and they make this beautiful paper for us from the from that thing, as well as many other things as well. I mean, obviously there are new types of papers always being invented and new surfaces and whatever. And that's what we like, right? We love that. As long as they're following safe precautions and redoing our, renewing the source, which I think that they must. All right, so there's the difference. It might not seem like a lot to you, but when we get to piling things up, it does it does stick out quite a bit. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with the second piece. So as I said, you don't need to have this particular set. If you go to the Michaels and go into the paper section, they have their own brand called Recollections. And Recollections brand has just about all of these types of things, like little hand tools. We were able to find some pretty specific things, like our action wobbles. Action wobbles. We were able to find that there under the Recollection name for a whole lot less money. All right, so there's our two. While we're here, let's go ahead and grab, I'm gonna grab my tweezers so I can grab my little yellow piece. And I am going to hold on to that. And then I'm just going to push the stamens in like this. Flirty. There we go. All right. I think I did that all. And when we put these all together, we're going to give them a little bit of dimension in between the petal and the stamen. And then here is the leaf. We're going to do similar with the leaf, but probably use a bigger.
Look what the dogs found.
Oh no. Oh no. Is it everywhere?
It's not everywhere, but there is certainly a black puddle. But right next to the carpet, you got lucky.
Oh, can you put some paper towels down?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll
the dog,
get off.
It's not the dogs. Say it. It's Teddy Bear.
Yeah.
Teddy Bear found ink for my printer, black ink, and decided he was going to chew on it. He doesn't have... Teddy, where are you? Come here. You're not Teddy. All right. You're lucky your white is still white, because I don't know how I would get ink off a dog.
I'm sorry to interrupt your live.
Yeah.
Do you have sandpaper and a mask I could borrow?
For where the ink is?
No.
No, not here. I don't. I'll have to look for something else. Did you put down paper?
Yeah, I put down paper towels.
Okay. All right, and I'm using the, sorry, that's what happens when you do a live. I do need to use my Empress die cutting and embossing folder machine more. You're right, I do. Yes. That is what these are, Barbara. Oh yeah, you could use these. Look. So it's a reverse tweezer, which helps you pick up each little tiny piece. And then the cool thing is it holds it. So it's great for moving stuff around. Now that we have that, these are all sculpted. Let's put away our sculpting tools. We'll keep the tweezers out. And now we're going to put these together. So to put them together, we need some double-sided, I call them dots, because they're round, but they're double-sided adhesive, foam tape, really, that's been cut into circles. So we have those. And then I wanted to finish up the flower with some dots. Realistically, I probably should use these yellow ones, but I like the pink, so I'm going to use the pink for that. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, I've got viewer mail. Did I mention that? I got viewer mail coming up. All right, so here we go. It's not all the viewer mail that I've received in the last couple of months, but it's the stuff that I managed to corral, because a lot of times, this is a weird thing that happens in my house. People are so nice. They come in and they get me my let's put that on there. Mail, and then they bring it to wherever I happen to be. But what ends up happening is sometimes I'm opening my mail in the kitchen, and sometimes in the living room, sometimes in the dining room. Sometimes they want me to do it right here when I'm in my studio. And so things get lost. And then I happen upon them as I start moving things around. All right. I'm not going to put a double-sided thing here because it's too big and I'm afraid it's going to show. Or I could either do that, or I could use just a very tiny piece, which I think, let's try that one. Let's try using this little small piece on the back of our... You know, I have a question for the audience. So I would like to know where I should be spending my time. Are you going to TikTok and looking for things? Are you going to YouTube and watching shorts? Or do you like to watch the whole thing, like the longer video? Do you want to just see how it's done without me talking? Probably. Or do you consider that chat and the talking is sort of basically part of the show, which is what I think, the chat. Because sometimes people come in and they're just chatting away, and I'm talking, and that's fine. And I think that people made friends. But like I see my old friend Abby doing lives, or not lives, she's doing these things on TikTok, and I think, well, maybe I should be doing that. I don't know. Spread myself too thin, though. Oh, so here we go. There's our beautiful flower. Isn't that great? Really nice. And now we can put together the rest of the card. So here is something that was cut, and it would definitely be able to be cut in a die cutting machine if you have this die. That's the big difference between the die cutting machines and the cutting machines. The cutting machines, they will cut just about anything you want, but finding the perfect image is a little bit difficult. At least that's been that way for me. Hold on, I need some water. Um, Never make this card again. I still have this doily, which makes it kind of interesting. I mean, I'd have the doily image because I'm an Access subscriber, but I haven't made these in a couple of years. So there you go. Okay, I want to point out that if you are looking for the doily, there was an original doily that I had, and it was not an Access doily, so I changed it. And if you are looking for this particular card that I made, it is in the Cricut community. You can find me under Miss Rita and follow me. I've got 700 projects in the Cricut community, and they're all free to use, and they all use Cricut based images. Okay, they're projects, full projects. So this one is, and if you don't want to find me on the community, you just want to know this is the font that I'm using, DJ Flirt, and then these are the 3 SKUs that I'm using for the rest of this card. So this card goes together very easily. There's our card base, there's our beautiful cutout doily, sized correctly, and then here's our cute little gift tag, and then that will be our flower. So let's go ahead and glue those on to what we're doing. I'm having a crisis of, I'm having a glue extension crisis lately, trying to find the perfect glue thing that I want, and I've been trying different ones, and this one here is actually the bottle from one company but the glue from another. The glue that I'm using for today is art glitter glue, which you can find on Amazon, and it has a couple of different tips involved, and one of them looks like this, but I can't find my original one, so I used my old one, which was from the Barely Art glue bottle. And actually, one of the things that we did as a little project before was to actually glue your tiny, look at that, see that? We had to glue our little thing so we don't lose our pin. Haven't been able to replicate the pin, that stainless pin. I do have these that I got on Etsy, which I think are really cute, and that was by Be Creative Crafts. Debbie Holt is her name, and they have all different ones of these, and they fit right in the glue container, and they don't get you don't want to shove it in there though, but they don't get rusty. The rusty thing is, it's not such a big deal. Sometimes if I haven't used the glue for a long time, I just spread it on there, going like, well, we'll see. I mean, technically you're not supposed to see the glue either, so there you go. It's going on a place where you're not supposed to see it. And then I have my cute hello done in DJ Flirt. which is a free Cricut Access font, meaning you have to have Cricut Access to use it, I believe, or you can purchase it if you like it so much. I have found there are some fonts that I just love and I always want to use, and it's become a kind of my signature font. And I've thought about, well, maybe I should just buy this font. But right now, because I'm a Cricut Access subscriber, um, you try to utilize my Access subscription. Let's see, let's move it over here. I like it over here better. All right, so I've glued this on, and I'm just going to hold it because I want it to hold. Now, these are A2 size cards. Remember, A2 size cards are 5.5 by 4.25, which we got from our 8.5 by 11-inch size card stock. And let's see, what else did I use here? I used these. I don't know where I got them. It's pearl, self-adhesive pearls. I probably got them in the clearance pile at AC Moore. You could also use some of these things. They're a little more expensive, but more realistic. Enamel dots, they cost about $5, and you get a whole card full of them in all different sizes. This double stick paper that's on foam, find it at the dollar store, find it at on Amazon in a very large bulk. You can get it for fairly inexpensively, and you can get them at the dollar store. So that's $1 or $1.25, depending on which store. And let's see, that's it. That's the whole project. Let's have a look at our finished project. Isn't that a cute card? Now, it will use A2 envelopes, which I would suggest you buy in bulk. If you're going to be a card maker, have them on hand rather than having to make them. It saves you a lot of time. This one here, I was disappointed in my paper choice because, as you can see, it doesn't really show off very well. So I think what I will do is remove that flower and use it somewhere else. I think we'll do that. Let's see. Does this ever happen to you? So I was able to get that off pretty in one piece. I don't think I'm going to get this off. No, I'm not. So I'm going to put that in my scrap pile because there might be something that's usable about that. And what do we have left in our project box? Oh, we have a thinking of you. And we have an extra doily that we cut. So might as well put together 3 cards here. Here we go. That'll be my last of these. Now, I want to move on to some much belated and not complete, but seriously appreciated viewer mail. So I apologize that it's taken me so long to get these things together, and it's not all of them. I apologize, but let me start off with what I'm wearing, and that is a turban. Is this not the cutest little thing? It's a turban that the person who made it used infusible ink because I think it's like a polyester blend, and even put it on the front here. Is that not the cutest? Now, this is from Rochelle, or she goes by Rocky. I've seen her on the chats before, and she does also comment on the videos after. Well, she she has she does this thing called the Turban Project, and that's where this idea came from. And she also has a satellite group at her senior center in Zanesville, Ohio. And she said she used infusible ink. And then there's also these things. They're called prayer squares, and they are either crocheted or this one's crocheted or knit squares that come with a cute little angel, and also a whole thing that tells you with this with the what it's for. It tells you what it's for, and a beautiful quote from Romans. Um, and I just think so thoughtful. Thank you so much, Rocky. I'm going to put my hat back on because my head is cold. So that's why I did it first. My head, I can't keep my head. My hair is, I don't think it's growing, but it stopped shedding, which is good. And now I look like a Cupid doll, which is funny. This is from Leslie, who's always on. I didn't see her this morning, but she's always on, which is a gorgeous card. I don't wonder where she got it. And here I bring you good tidings of great joy. I love all these stamps that people use. I wish I could get organized with my stamps. I just love it. And so Leslie says, wishing you a blessed Christmas and sending you continued healing prayers. Is that not the most beautiful thing? Oh, I just love it. So thank you very much, Leslie. Who's up next? Oh, this is from Roberta. I think it's from Roberta. Yeah, it is from Roberta. Now, Roberta has been crafting for some time, and I thought this was a really good use of print then cut. It's such a professional looking card. It is, but it says exactly what she wanted to say. So she was able to print the cut and put it on to this base, which is a scallop base, and then she print the cut this, which I thought, wow, that looks really, really professional. I have bent it, so but when it came, it was not bent like that. But there's Roberta, and she sent me a lovely note, a very touching story about miracles, and including her daughter, who became critically ill at one point, and they were able to revive her, and now 50 years later, she's given her children, grandchildren, two of the greatest gifts in her life. Roberta, I loved reading your story. It was so nice. Thank you very much for the card as well, and for sharing your story. Here is from one of our quiet ones. Life doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful. I really admire this card. I think it's from Echo Park Paper, and she has gone ahead and done a reverse emboss, I think. I think that's a reverse emboss. And look, she added all this beautiful ribbon to it, and then opened it up, and there's another great stamp. I don't know where you're finding these wonderful stamps, but they're beautiful. And I'm thinking that they are stamps, but because I think this is a stamp. This one might have been an actual sticker. So this is from Janet Keene, a professed quiet one, and she says she's learned so much, and she sent me love and prayers. Thank you, Janet. I really admire your handiwork. Here's something from my very good friend and corgi compatriot, Babs. You might know her as Babs or Barb. I know her as Babs, going way back to our corgi introduction on Facebook days. We used to have a really good group on there that sort of shared a lot of stuff on there. So it's been very nice. to meet people like Babs, and she has her darling dog, uh, Gracie Junebug, and her kitty, Pumpkin Kitty, and her husband. Anyway, she sent me this beautiful, inspired by Anna Griffin, a happy Valentine's Day card with the motioned polar bear. And look at all of these ephemera elements that she has added to the card. Even on the inside, she cuts and writes this out with her machine. And I'm assuming she also cuts out her ephemera, or this is what I'm calling ephemera, these things here. Some of these are made and she purchased them that way, like this one, I believe she purchased, but this in here I think is printed. Anyway, Babs, thank you for that. Let's see, who's next? Oh, from my good friend Nancy Kuliga. I love this card. I'm so glad to have received one because I actually mailed them out. And I wanted to note on here, Nancy, she put, isn't this fun? She knew that the card would show here, so she moved it over to the left. I really like that. And I just love this card. Thank you so much, Nancy. And then I got another one. It's a corgi card. And I got to know, this from Nancy as well. I got to know, Nancy does all her writing with the machine. And I think she's using glitter pens for that. And I wonder if maybe someday she'll share her trick. And there's her little guy. But it's a corgi, but just to say, a little sunshine my way. Isn't that wonderful? Beautiful. All right. So here is from, this is from our friend in Idaho, Kathleen Crowley. And it was a Valentine's Day card. Also handmade, but I'm interested in knowing if any parts of it were done on the machine. And she's got this beautiful Valentine's stamp there. And I love the use of the cardstock, the craft cardstock, and all these nice fancy elements. That's terrific. Now, this one here, I just wanted to show you because it's my neighbor. So my neighbor, I learned about this over the winter. My neighbor's last names, they have two different last names. They're married, but they have two different last names. And when you put together pieces from their names, it says Dollhouse. The first name starts with a D-O-L, and then the second last name is H-O-U-S, no E. But so no L, no double L, but or an E. But anyway, she's obsessed with this thing, calling her house the Dollhouse, and she's an artist. And this is what she sent as a card to her people, her peeps. So there it is. I hope your holidays are sweet with Stacy and Dale. And she actually has gotten 2 new baby kitties this year because she lost some. And she's just really creative and sent this along and gave instructions on how to put it together. Just thought it was so cute. It's like a little art project in a box. It even included this little girl gingerbread. So fun. Anyway, and this last one I have to apologize for, because I opened it too fast and a couple of the pieces fell out. But this is one of those pop-up cards from, look at that, pop-up card. It's from Sue Boss, who I've heard from before. She sends so many wonderful cards. But look, there you go. It's one of those pop-up cards that you can find in Design Space. And it's a square. We've done a number of these. If people are interested in hearing about them again, we could do them again as well. So many different cards. I know I didn't get everybody. I know I didn't get everybody, and I know there's one in particular from Loretta that I haven't shown yet. So I just have to keep finding them. And as I dig out of my house, out of my hoard, I'm looking at this right now, this time period of of in between spring and summer, just to kind of like get spring cleaning done, I guess, and get more organized, because all of my stuff is in the front of the house and it's become very messy over the years. And excuse me, my voice goes out because of the medication that I'm on. So let me update you as Teddy Bear keeps making messes and everything. I am still doing my chemotherapy treatments. They said they just keep doing them now to keep the cancer at bay. It has decreased to about 1/4 of the size of what was there, and there are no lesions or anything on my back. Most of them are on, like, some on my ribs. The lesions that they found on my liver have shrunk dramatically. So I'm just going through the process. And the way the process works is every 3 weeks for me, I get my chemo. And then I have to recover from the chemo, which is kind of stinky. But it does work, because to see such a dramatic change after 2 treatments, she was very, very hopeful. So I'm doing well. I'm walking better. But I still get tired a lot, and a little bit leery about standing up. So public things I'm still working on. I have physical therapy. So I got physical therapy. I've got my every 3 weeks thing. And then every 3 months, they get you to go for scans so they can see the progress of the medication. So that's what I'm doing. So my next scans are in March. So in thinking about the class, I think to get stuff done that I need to get done, which is a lot of class, whatever, physical therapy, this and that. I was thinking that I would just do a 1 or 2 classes a week through the springtime. The other thing is, I have accepted a little part-time job, temporary part-time job with the city, to work on some green initiatives that I want desperately to bring to the city. And they picked me as a community liaison, who's a person that works with the community, which is kind of like what I already do. So just like communicating things to other people, that sort of thing. And we kind of already do that with our Green Peabody committee. And so I wonder if I don't know that that's going to go anywhere, but it's just going to be part-time, and I'll work around the schedule as well. So I hope that is okay. Take time to smell the roses. That's the other thing, is enjoying, the time that I have. People say, well, if you knew you had just a few, months to live or a year to live, what would you do? Then go out and do that. But unfortunately, when people are sick, they don't have the ability to be out gallivanting around. So it's a lot of scheduling and what have you. But what you end up doing is you end up appreciating the things around you more. And that's something that I have done. Anyway, that's it for me for today. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves and got a chance to say hello to their friends as well. Um, I I welcome always any kind of input, and I like the nice stuff the best. And if you have ever need to send me anything by mail, by email, my email address is missrita@gmail.com, and I will get it. So if you want to be a part of viewer mail going forward, you can ask either Loretta or myself. But my email address is missrita@gmail.com. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm going to watch again, see if there were comments that I want to do. Thought of that, Barbara. Yes, it is. I hadn't thought of, limitations. Yeah, you're right, because when I go to public places, I either have to bring my rolling cart or I have to bring a cane with me, and then I have, what do you call it? Handicap access, and dealing with handicap access, especially in an old city. It's been challenging, but you learn a lot of things about it that way, about the city, and about your own personal challenges, that sort of thing. So there you go. All right. I think that's going to do it for me for today. I love you all. I know I love to laugh. I love to laugh at myself. I get to laugh with my sister often nowadays, and I really love it. And the one thing that we tell each other now every time, we never used to do it, but now when we're on the telephone, we always sign off, I love you. And I'm like, that makes sense to do that. My father, every single time he saw me, told me he loved me, and gave me a kiss and a little hug. So that's just something that I remember about him. So I like that we're all doing it now in the family. I love you. Even my mom this morning, she said, I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed. And I was like, yes, you are. We all are here. So thank you, everybody, for your time and interesting stuff. And yep, love to give lessons. The next thing I have to do, I do have about 3 other doily projects that I started making, because then I was like, oh, enough doilies. I want to do an Easter card that's for Easter that's coming up. Yes, and now I have to go check out. I almost forgot about the ink on my. I hope he picked it up. All right, you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.